do have to say at this point that Mrs. Rees and I worked together very, very many years ago, probably more than 20. We've had no real contacts since then, so it won't influence the examination in any way. Very nice to see you. Very many years. So I just want to move straight on now with the main issue that people are concerned about, and that's the numbers. Now, there are a group of people on the left who say that the 16,500 homes is too low, and they set out their reasons, and there are other people at this part of the table who say that there are environmental constraints and those numbers are too high. And so we're going to explore some of the points that have been put to me about those matters. And we're going to start with the group that say that the numbers are too low. And what I want to do is to go through a number of different points that are raised by the representatives and to look at the evidence, look at the evidence base of the council, and I would like the points that you make to address the evidence base of the council, and then to address any other evidence base that you consider I should be looking at and giving more weight to. And the way we're going to do this is to look at the council's table 1, which they set out, and that actually sets out, lists the points where there is an influence on the objectively assessed needs and the numbers. And that's the population growth, so that's the relevant statistics that come out from central government. There's migration, which a number of people have raised the issue of migration. Then there is employment growth. Again, a number of people have raised employment. There's commuting. Again, that's a point that has been raised. The household formation rates, we won't look at in detail, but we'll see how we go with those. And the market signals and the need for affordable housing. Mrs. Wade-Crossman.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Some of us are having difficulty finding which piece of paper you're referring to.
It's the council's response to matter 1. It
matter
won't,
1?
Sorry, to matter 2. It won't matter if you haven't got that paper before you, because I'm going to take through the points that are raised in it and set them out. So I'm sure you've all read the council's response and you've seen the council's evidence. And so I would like to hear your point of view on their evidence to start with, and then I'm going to ask council to respond to the points that are made. So I'd like to start with the issue of migration and ask anyone who would like to speak about migration if they have any points they want to make at this point. Okay. And then we'll move to one where maybe do you want to speak about, which is, did you want to speak about migration, Mr. Baker?
I do have a general point about migration,
yes,
specifically that we think that migration trends have been constrained somewhat by the council's undersupply of housing. And so this would have impacted on the migration assumptions and projections, specifically within the 2012 subnational population projections. So there's just an element of caution that needs to be taken when those projections are considered.
Can I just say at this point, and I'm sure everybody on this side is aware, but I'm not sure that everybody else is aware, that there are going to be household projections published by the Department of Communities and Local Government. And I think the date is the 27th of February, I've heard. And you will have to take those into account. I'll explain how I'm going to do that later, but just for all parties to be aware that the government are producing figures which are related to the earlier population figures. What happens is the population statistics come out and they're then translated into household formation rates. Those are published by central government, so DCLG will publish those. Do you need me to explain further about what they are? Or... Yeah.
Can you just clarify to what extent those figures are going to be national, regional, sub-regional and local?
Not really. Yes.
The population projections on which they're based were issued by National Statistics last year, and therefore Herefordshire as a county. So they don't go below the county level, but cover actually Herefordshire Council's area.
Okay, so your projections for the HMAs, on which housing numbers have been locally assigned, won't be affected by this?
As far as what we need to do, because we haven't got them, so we can't make any comments on them. When they're issued, I will ask the council to make comments on them, which I will then ask to be open to consultation. But I just want you to be aware that there are figures that are going to be published by national government relating to household rates, and when you see the councils and when you see the objectively assessed needs described, the process described, it does say ONS 2012, subnational population statistics. Those are the ones that are going to follow through into the household formation rates. I just want you to be aware that there is another document. But we'll continue. We can only look at the matters that we have before us today. So migration, I would just pick up that point. Mr. Baker, you're suggesting a portion to do with the statistics that have already come out. And so I'll just ask if you can, if you want to respond to that point.
Yes, I think the reports that we produced, the local housing requirement study, which is J3, has looked at the issue and has modelled long-term migration trends as well as a sensitivity analysis. So there is a sensitivity analysis within the report that addresses migration trends looking back over the period from 2001 onwards as well, which should capture any short-term or long-term issues. Where the subnational population projections sit is effectively between a 5 and 10 year trend.
So just for clarification, Madam Chairman, are you going to be following the same procedure as in the previous session and taking your questions in sequence?
Well, because this is to do, yes, this is to do with the objectively assessed needs. That's what we're looking at now. The objectively assessed needs are the starting point. So that's why we're looking at the objectively assessed needs.
I understand. I just think it would be very helpful for many of us if you were to flag up which question you've got to, so that we can follow the relevant documentation. Thank you.
Yes, so we are looking at the objectively assessed needs point. I have the information on how they've been identified and the evidence base. And I also have the information on the role that government household projections have in identifying the objectively assessed needs. So I have the answers in point 1 and 2. Point 3 is really where there's the debate, which we're having now, which is about whether they reflect national policy and guidance, recent planning practice guidance, and I've got the council's response to that, and I'm taking through some of the points that can influence objectively assessed needs from those parties who are suggesting there should be a higher number. Do you want to
Sorry,
I'll come to
can I just check we are going through in sequence
Yes, we are.
the case for more, and then we will go through that
Exactly.
process
Exactly.
if there are other views.
That's right. So what I want to do is explore those parties who suggest that the number should be greater, and then I'm going to come and to those parties who suggest the number should be lower in exactly the same way. Is that clear? Councillor?
Thank you. Just to follow that, just to be clear, we're talking about the county as a whole, we're not talking about distribution and specific areas.
That's right. Thank you. Is that clear? Thank you.
Thank you, Mom. In relation to economic growth specifically, the Council's earlier housing requirement assessment was based on, I believe, 2013 economic forecasts using Experian economic forecasting house as the basis for their housing requirement. Subsequently, I believe in September 2014, the latest position by the Council was that they assessed a jobs growth figure which was put forward in an earlier iteration of a report that Gladman Developments commissioned and that was submitted as part of the publication draft or the pre-submission draft consultation. Gladman Developments, GB on behalf of Gladman Developments, have subsequently assessed the most up-to-date Experian forecasts, which forecast an even greater level of economic growth and indeed job growth within the county. And we consider, in relation to the September 2014 GL Hearn report, the conclusions drawn in relation to economic growth are out of date, as they are. They do not plan positively on the basis of the most up-to-date economic forecasts. Also, and I'm not sure if this is covered by a specific item, but in relation to the local enterprise partnership, Gladman Development's submission also looks at the local enterprise partnership. It looks at the economic and job growth forecast, or rather as part of their growth strategy, the strategic economic plan for the LEP, and identifies or seeks to understand the level of growth that might be appropriate or planned or might be the objective for Herefordshire. And that comes out again at a greater level of growth than has been identified through the 2014 GL Hearn report, or indeed through any of the work undertaken by the Council to date in terms of their policy strategy, policy evolution. And we understand that with the LEP there's a slightly different position in so much as many schmals or objective assessments of need don't directly consider the LEP, and it's seen as being potentially more of a policy issue. However, in both the case of the objective assessment, which was obviously the mandate of GL Hearn, and the policy evolution, which is the Council's responsibility, neither have given the LEP strategy the full and proper consideration that it clearly deserves, being a cornerstone of the government's so-called long-term economic plan. So, overall, we think that the Council's evidence base is inadequate in that sense, and the objective assessment of need, which is based on that, and the resulting housing requirement, which takes that into account, is out of date and unsound.
Is there anyone else? Mr. Waterfield?
Thank you, Mark. I do support what my colleague has said there about the looking for a more aspirational economic forecast. I'm just looking, Ma'am, at page 33 of the document, as it's all 3, and table 15, that sets out the economic forecast from Experian 2013.
Can you just repeat the page?
Sorry, it's page 33 It sets out in table 15 the economic forecast from 2013, Experian 2014, and Oxford Econometrics. And it sets out the resulting dwelling numbers associated with each one of those forecasts. Just a clarification from your perspective, I understand if it's the case that Experian 2014, their projections, and the Oxford Econometrics, I understand that the basis of those economic forecasts are in fact population projections. If that is the case, then if they are subnational population projections that result in housing requirements of that level, I understand the current position is the housing population projections would actually be lower than what the council are producing now. So effectively, what we're seeing is Experian 2014 and Oxford Econometrics projections. If they are derived from the population, subnational population projections, which are lower than what the council are suggesting, therefore the jobs and housing numbers will always come out lower than the economic forecast associated with any other projection, or indeed any jobs forecast from the council's preferred population profile. So what I'm saying, Mark, is that those Experian and Oxford Econometrics would be very passive and very conservative economic projections if they are based upon population projections which are lower than the council's population projections, which is when I support the position made by my colleague there.
Well, you've used the word if. I mean, do you know?
Well, I do know that they are supported, they are derived from population projections, but it's a question of whether I can confirm whether they are 2012 population projections.
Okay, so it's the date of those projections, and that's the 2014 and the Oxford economics. Of course, with statistics, it's never ending, something's always going to be out of date the next day, largely.
I would suggest not out of date, but conservative was the position.
Conservative, okay. Okay. And then the second point was about the LAP, figures and my question to you would be how you took that into account.
Thank you. I think the discussion so far has really raised some of the issues with economic forecasting. We're not looking at something that is an exact science. The government at a national level looks at a range of different forecasts and takes a consensus view, midpoint, or so forth. That's what the Treasury does in the way it forecasts. But the Treasury also only looks at 2019 or 2020 there. And therefore, I think, inevitably with this process, when we're looking at a period looking 15 years into the future, there's inevitably some uncertainty about how the economy will perform. I think that's an important starting point that's relevant to interpreting these issues. Now, reflecting some of those uncertainties, the approach that we've taken is to look at a number of different forecasts.